I'm Steve, and welcome to a very special episode of Our Road to Camelot. As many of you know, as you go camping, it's hard to find ways to eat healthy. Well, in this episode, we are going to take all of this stuff and turn it into a campfire meal. All right, when you go camping, campfires are always an awesome thing. But in this episode, we are not going to actually use a campfire. We're going to use our barbecue grill. But this could be done on a barbecue grill. It could be done in the fire itself. I have done that a couple of times already. And cue the flashback to the two fires we had with this. But we're going to basically go through the ingredients and how to prep. And a lot of this you could prep ahead of time. A lot of the ingredients are very simple. We've got basically red, black, and white potatoes, little mini tomatoes, a couple of ears of corn, a nice large potato, red peppers. Once again, if you want to add some of your own stuff, if you like green peppers, go ahead. I'm going for color. I like something to be kind of colorful. So we also got carrots to throw in the mix, some mushrooms, more of my potatoes, chicken loin, tenderloins is what we're going to be using, chicken for this one. And for additional flavoring, I've got my Old Bay seasoning and some minced garlic. And we found this organic chosen blend oil, which is a balanced flavor from safflower, coconut, and avocado oils. It's also rated for high heat. The times I actually used the campfire, I was waiting for the coals, the fire to go down, and lo and behold, storms blew in and we had to quickly throw it on the fire at the highest possible heat. But it all turned out in the end and it was very tasty. So we're going to have that experience again right now. And I almost forgot, one of the most important things you're going to need for this is your Reynolds aluminum foil. I actually have foil for the grill, and I like this because one, it's wider, it's larger, and it's heavier duty, non-stick. I have done it with just regular aluminum foil in the past. It'll work too, but if you can get the big stuff, you definitely don't want this tearing on your grill or in the fire pit when you're cooking it. Okay, so first thing up, let's go ahead and get this onion. We're only going to use half of the onion. I'm basically cooking for 2 people on this one. So we won't use everything you see here, but if we were going with a larger group of people, we would definitely be using the whole onion. Let's get the chicken out of the way. So my preference, and I know some of my culinary friends out there will probably cringe. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this to your liking or not, but personally I just lop off the ends to make it easier to peel. Give a little bit of a groove in there. And all I'm basically doing is getting the outer layer off. If you do it right, you should not be getting any tears out of this. So I'm only using half of the onion, the other half's going to be used for dinner for Saturday night. And for this particular meal, I kind of like the idea of having nice big chunks of onion to throw in the fire, in the dinner. So I'm just going to half it once. And you know what? I like that. I like these pieces. Let's go with that. So that's all I'm going to do for the onion. We'll only be using 1 red pepper for this. I'm going to cut out the stem. Now there's a lot of different ways of cutting up red pepper, but once again I'm looking for bigger pieces. I'm looking for I'm looking for bigger pieces. I know some people like cutting them this way, you know what? I'm going to start, once again, cutting it in half, going with the halves. Like nice big pieces. Alright, so that's all done. Last, I like doing the mushrooms whole. Maybe cut them in half, but you know what? For this particular recipe, we're going to keep the mushrooms whole. And then we are going to use 2 ears of corn, 1 for each of the dinners. And for the sake of this meal, we are going to probably break these into thirds. I'll score it a little bit. It makes it easier to break. There we go. The potatoes I'm going to wash off, but we're going to leave those whole. And let's go ahead and move on to that step. Actually, just rinsing up my cutting board, and the potatoes I'm going to wash off, and we're going to cut those in half. They will cook a little more cleanly and faster that way. So rinse those off. We'll just go ahead and cut these in half. Soft one in there? No. Okay. So we're now ready to start assembling. I'm going to get a spoon out for my garlic. And we start out with a nice big piece of foil. In fact, let me go ahead and get both pieces ready. Now the way I like to start this out is I want to roll up the corners of this to kind of make a tray so the oil won't spill out. Oh, we got a brand new bottle of oil. Also, when you're doing a cooking show, make sure that you pre-open the bottles before you start. Okay, so I like putting the oil right down in the pan first, and very liberal amount of oil. And on top of that, now we're going to start layering. So I'm going to put 3 of the tenderloin chickens down. And I'm going to cover that with a nice layer of Old Bay. And I have an old Italian recipe, and that is when a little bit's good, a lot is better. I'm going to get this in the oil too. I want the oil to have this Old Bay in it as well. There we go. Let's go ahead and get the garlic out. And yes, life would not be worth living without garlic. So I'm putting a nice generous portion of garlic over this. And we'll just go ahead and start adding a little bit of everything else. Let's go ahead with some onion. Throw some onion in there. Now, is there any order this has to go in at this point? No, not really. But I want 3 pieces of corn. We got the front, the tail, and let's throw a middle in there. There we go. So we got our corn. We want potatoes. Okay, which one are we missing? We're missing one of these. There we go. And some pepper. We already got the onion. Don't forget the carrots. We need some carrots. Definitely want those thrown in. And oh yes, don't forget the mushrooms. So once again, add whatever your favorites are. Dawn likes mushrooms. She likes lots of mushrooms. Okay, now last but not least, I like the bite that balsamic vinegar will give it. So we're going to put just a little bit of balsamic vinegar over the top of this. And we already have some amazing smells coming up from this, and it hasn't even started cooking yet. So now we got to wrap this thing up. So it's going to be like not quite a burrito style, but I'm folding the sides in. I'm pulling it up in the middle, and I'm going to roll it down nice and tight. We want to make this as tight as we can get it without tearing. So there we go. Now basically going to repeat with the other one, and that will be it. We'll be ready for the barbecue. Oil, generous amount of oil again. We go ahead and lay our chicken on top of the oil. One of the reasons why we do put the chicken on top of the oil too is that it's less likely to stick if the chicken is directly in contact with the oil. Go ahead with our Old Bay, yes, get that on there. And in the oil too. Alright, spread in some garlic. Oh, I love garlic. Has to do with Italian heritage. I don't know, garlic's just good anyway. Alright, so we got our garlic in there. And now, pretty much everything else. We want to get the onion right on there too. The onion is actually going to help season it. That's why I like the onion normally to go next, and then everything else on top. But onion We're not really using an onion powder or any onion seasonings. The onion itself is going to give that. So that's why I kind of load that up. And everything else just kind of falls into place. That was beautiful. Look at that. Okay. One more. There we go. Awesome. That's looking good. Here we go. Oh, balsamic. And if you're one that needs measurements, you came to the wrong house. You look about how much I poured in, that's about it. You're going to see over my shoulder how it looks as I'm pouring it in. Use that as a guide. I don't do a lot of measuring, as you might have figured out. But you know what? It still comes out and it tastes amazing. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. If you like measuring, I do have another cooking video that's going to be coming up where I do actually have things pre-measured, so that will probably make you happy if you really are going crazy right now. So there are our two dinners. I will kind of wipe up after the fact. And next stop is out to the grill. Okay, so we're going to be cooking on the Coleman. Go ahead and get this thing fired up. There's one side. I'm going to let this preheat for a few minutes, and while this is heating, we're just going to be talking a little bit about what's going to be happening. I'm going to be putting these on the grill for about 5 minutes, well actually 10 minutes, and then flip it for another 10, so it'll cook for about 20 minutes on the grill. That should be enough. I'll kind of figure out, get a feel for how much heat's coming out of this, so we're going to be doing it on a little bit lower heat, and usually it's about 20 minutes total time to get the chicken cooked all the way through. And in a fire pit, usually that'll cook everything, because the potatoes are small, carrots are small, so those should soften up in 20 minutes instead of the normal, say, 45 for a baked potato. So I'll give it a few more minutes to heat. Set timer for 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes and counting.
I like cooking on a covered grill because it contains the heat a lot more, and I will turn these down quite a bit. There we go. Yeah, I'll go ahead and turn them down so the heat will be contained nicely within the lid. So we're going to go from there. 10 minutes to go. Okay, I turned the heat all the way down. I'm hearing some sizzling going on. I'm going to flip it a little bit early. It's about 8 minutes in, so we've got some things happening there. I'm going to go ahead and flip it now. Careful not to, being very careful not to tear the foil. We do not want any of the juices running out. So we might have a, oh, that's not a, I thought it was a hole, it's not. We're good. Okay. Set the timer for about another 10 minutes. And we should be in really good shape. set timer for 10 minutes.
A timer is already running. Would you like to replace it?
Yes.
Okay, the timer's now running for 10 minutes.
Alright, we've got about a minute or so left on the timer. I'm going to flip it one more time for probably another 4 to 5 minutes because we did flip it early. Everything seems to be running smooth. The sizzle sounds right now. The temperature feels right. So I think we still need to give it that little extra time. Like I said, chicken, skinless chicken on the grill. 20 minutes total is usually all you need. We got a little bit of smoke coming, but I think we're going to be fine with that. Okay, so that was our timer. Let's go ahead and flip one more time. Oh, it's looking nice. Looking real good. So as you can see, we do have some juice that has come out. That's perfectly normal. You're never going to get a perfectly tight seal where you've tied it up, but that's fine. All those juices kind of flowed through all the veggies and the meat and everything, so we should be in really good shape. Let's go ahead and put a timer for 5 more minutes. Set timer for 5 minutes.
Your timer is set for 5 minutes.
Okay, 5 minutes, we should be done. Okay, so time is up. Let's go ahead and pull this off, get it inside, and see what we have. Okay, so we're back inside. Let me get a fork. And we'll peel one of these back and see what we got. Ooh, oh, the smell. You know, that's the one thing you don't get, is you don't get the smells. But just look at that. Potatoes, they look a little tender. Chicken is cooked. And we're going to let that sit for a little while longer, and usually we want to give it a few more minutes, and that'll finish those potatoes up perfectly. Get it out here in a second. We'll put it in the bowl and you get a chance to see exactly what we've got. In fact, we probably can go ahead and dump one of these right now. Okay, look at all that. Oh my gosh, it's looking amazing. Yeah, the chicken feels very tender, though it's cooked. Corn is tender, potatoes, they are soft. Yeah, we're perfect. It's good. So that is a campfire dinner. You can do some of the prep ahead of time if you wanted to cut up your veggies and have them in bags or in bowls. So when you get to the campsite, all you're doing is assembling. Truthfully, I would just assemble it when you get to the campsite. So that is it. Usually one foil would feed one extremely hungry person or 2 hungry people. So this could be enough for 4. Dawn and I will probably be eating on this for the next couple of days. Oh, look at that one. Yeah, so nice. Okay, that's it for this episode. Remember, please subscribe. Tell all your friends to subscribe. Post it on Facebook and everywhere else you could post it for us. We'd love to get your opinion too. If you have some of your own favorite recipes for camping, post it on below. I will have the whole recipe listed out in my comments with everything that I used. But realize you can substitute. This is all about substitution when it comes to this type of a recipe. Dawn's not here to say it, but make sure you hit that bell for notifications. We do post every Sunday at 2 p.m. So that's basically it for now, and we happy eating, and we hope to see you on the road. Later.